game time. Game time. Game time. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. It's game time. Game time.
Welcome back to the Game Time Greatness Podcast. I'm your original host, Brandon Scott.
And I'm Jake VASSAR.
Original co-host.
AKA Rex.
This week we did things a little differently. Obviously, we are filming together.
Yep.
We live in different cities, so I am in College Station this week. So we are filming on a Sunday. That means we cannot currently tell you what the results are, but we're going to be showing you the standings.
Yeah, so you can show the Week 7 standings right now, Grant, and then we will also have another segment on Zoom on Tuesday, and we'll go through the weekly recap.
And we're going to do like a fastest 2-minute kind of
like
thing.
boomer.
Yeah, we're going to be running through it quickly. We know that has been a drag kind of on the last few podcasts, so we want to quickly kind of give everyone an update and
go through Goose's 200 Club.
So, some context on just what's going on, so when we want to watch these podcasts back later on, we can kind of understand what was going on in the league.
Yeah, and if you quickly notice my outfit here, I am wearing scrubs because I am a scrub and I am currently going to lose to Michael Baker, which has happened before. So
lastly, I'm not sure, but we need to thank Grant.
Yeah, definitely. We want to give a special shout out to Grant. He spends a lot of time editing these videos and including special effects. If you go back and listen to the old podcasts, they were just one clip and we'd upload them to YouTube, but they've taken dramatic steps forward. So
and it really helps us being able to continue the podcast. We literally would get burnt out of having to plan, film, and edit all of the podcasts ourselves. It was just too much, and like everyone stepping up and being in different podcasts has really been helpful, and it's been...
Oh yeah, and thank you everyone else who's contributed, because it's fun.
It's been amazing. We've been able to keep it going, and I think that's what everyone looks forward to. Like during the week, I get so excited when a podcast drops.
And of course, I love doing them, and honestly, I wish I could do every single one, but it's really nice watching them and having like 30 minutes of surprises coming for you. So
coming up, we have player profiles.
Yep.
And then
that's very exciting. So we have the Zoom recap, and then player profiles, and then
matchups for next week.
Yep.
As we mentioned, we are doing the recap this week over Zoom. Obviously, we filmed the rest of it at 12 o'clock on Sunday, so some of the takes might be hot, might be bad. That's what I was hearing from Jake as he rewatched some of them as he was sending it to Grant. So we're going to do a quick recap for you. Anything to add, Jake, before we get into the recap?
I got nothing. Let's dive in.
All right. B and Matt. B. So I said this was poor management all around. The score could have been 161 to 147. Basically, all the points were left on the bench. We had tragically underperforming rookie running backs, including Taylor and Clyde, who combined for about 11 points. We had terrible quarterback performance from both teams, combined 28 quarterback points. Gronk. So for those that don't know, I won this week by 4 points after Gronk put up 14 points. He needed 10 to get me the win. And he had 0 points essentially in the first half, and he came out in the second half, got the touchdown, went crazy. I was happy. Anyway, that was a huge win for me and a huge loss for Matt heading into a big week where he's going to have to face Ethan with no Sanders and Mixon on by. Jake, your thoughts on the matchup?
Yep. I really wanted Matt to win, but really with that loss, it makes the road to playoffs very difficult for him because he needs about 4 wins. And he has Easy E, Noah, and Brandon left. So out of his 5 matchups remaining. So that's going to be tough. Next up, we have Jake and Mike. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right. I said a huge win for Jake. It's really huge. You without Chubb this week, or without Chubb the last few weeks has been brutal for you, but you've managed to pick up crucial win after crucial win after me and Mike counted you out. We essentially anti-nicer team is on extends a win streak to 3 now, which is huge because I think you're undefeated since you had the hype video, which wow. And then again, Mike's team has been ravaged. It looks similar to Matt's team that one year that he was trying to break 100 every single year. Like Mike, you can tell he's sending out trades. He's scavenging the waiver wire every week to try to break 100 points.
Yep. And then all I got is at this point in the season, I'll take an ugly win over pretty loss. It wasn't the best showing of my team, but hey, I'm not mad. I'm not going to apologize for being in 4th, even though I probably don't deserve it. And in the words of Jackson Jarvis, a flock of geese was found on Mike's team. He's got Blankenship with -3, and that's a huge surprise to me. And then Tennessee with -1. That was a really bad swing for him, but I'll take it.
It's terrible all around for Mike, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Grant and Jarvis. I put win feels like it keeps Grant's team out more than giving Jarvis a chance. Both teams obviously could still make playoffs. They're not eliminated by any means, but it just felt like Grant might have had a chance, and then it's like Jarvis just boom, like, sorry, Grant, like, it's not going to happen. Again, Jamal Williams and Mahomes were leading the charge for Jarvis. Absolutely marvelous performances from both of them. Like Jamal Williams just a handcuff essentially gets 20 points for Jarvis, and Mahomes getting 40 something. Like that's what Jarvis drafted him in the second round for. It's huge. Grant's Chargers are essentially his only players that did anything this week, and that would be Herbert, Justin Jackson, and Keenan. Those are literally like probably 75% of his points. I didn't actually look. And then a stat that I came up with. Oh, never mind. But I did say that he joins the Goose Egg Club with the Green Bay defense. Rex, your thoughts?
Yep. Another. I mean, it's a crushing loss for Grant. Good win for Jarvis, even though his playoff hopes are probably thin at this point. But it did breathe some life back in, and he put up 154, and that's with 2 points coming from his kicker and defense combined. So like that could have been an even bigger week, and I think if he can carry the momentum, he can give himself a chance for playoffs. Next,
quick note all around. I know we're not supposed to elaborate, but quick note: everyone's kicker and defense felt like they did so bad this week. It was outrageous. Like I felt like most people were lucky to get combined 10. All right, moving on. You got it.
Let's see. No, you go ahead and give your weird stat.
Oh yeah. I'll go first. Okay, so Cole. Next up we have Cole and Zach. I said Cole doubles the Goose Egg Club with Galladay 0 and San Fran getting -2. And I believe Cole still won. I actually didn't write who won this matchup. Yeah, Cole did win with both of those two. That's crazy. Zach was one of the only teams in the country to lose with Dalvin Cook on his roster because that is just brutal. Huge win for Cole. I made up a stat would give him an 85% chance of playoffs at this point. Leave Zach fighting for a spot.
Yeah, I have no idea where you got the 85%. But I do know that Dalvin Cook got 37% of Zach's points. Even with the loss, he's in a good position to make playoffs. He'll be fighting for that 5 and 6 spot for sure.
Agreed. Moving on to Holmes and Noah. I said Holmes had a huge, and I put in quotes, upset win. It's weird as we keep calling it upsets, even though Noah's team is like near the bottom of the standings. I put team does better with Oda out. Is Odell toxic to Colin Holmes' team? I don't know. Huge good manager moves from Holmes this week. He started Mooney, Ayuk, and Philly. They're all great starts that scored him the points to get enough to get the win. I put Noah had the classic backhanded compliment this morning. I was getting all excited because I knew we were planning this. The compliment, GG Holmes, another 3rd, 4th place finish awaits you. Congrats. And then, yeah, that's all I got.
I pretty much got the same thing there. Great management from Holmes. And I like how we keep saying beating a 3-5 Noah team who's really in the bottom 4 spots is an upset. But like he's projected 160 a week and his team keeps underperforming / the other team booms. And so it's really hurting him in terms of his record, but like he can go 5-0 in the remaining 5. And I'm still worried about him as a playoff contender. His really only tough matchup is Brandon in week, I think 11. And so I think he's still in a position to make playoffs.
All right. Lastly, we have Colin Christian and Ethan. I put both Collins playing at huge upsets. This one was the upset of the week. Corey Davis, Travis Fulgham leading the charge. 2 names we did not think we would be saying at the beginning of the season. One of them who we didn't even know existed. But I put for the rest of the league, don't get excited. Ethan had 4 of his future playoff starters on bye this week just because he had a bad week. Like we don't need to get excited as the rest of the league hoping. But I did like to mention that Ethan joins the under 100 club while he still has not joined the over 200 club.
I love it.
Ooh, that one's tough. And then lastly, Rip George Kittle. That sucks. We don't like injuries here. So.
Yep. I mean, this loss is pretty irrelevant for Ethan. He's going to make playoffs. But for CC, on the other hand, like that was massive. He's 3-4, pulls up a huge win. Now he's 4-4, and we'll get into his matchup later with Holmes. Let's see. He's got I think it's Ethan. He has a very easy remaining schedule, so like not much to worry about there. Also, interesting to note, Ethan picked up DJ Dallas for $12. So he has a lot of fab, but like he didn't even start him. And DJ Dallas was like a 1-week spot start, but he decided to bench him. So I think he picked him up to hold him so like no one else could have him. And interestingly, Matt bid on DJ Dallas, and if he would have started DJ in place of any running back, he would have beat you, Brandon. So
thank you, Ethan.
Yeah, but
also,
I mean,
I think Ethan meant to start him. He just didn't, but I couldn't say that for sure.
Yeah, but it was Ethan and then me and then Matt. So like, if I didn't get on 2, but anyway,
all right, that was our weekly recap. A little bit quicker of a segment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Moving on though, we're gonna talk about the standings real quick, and I think we'll let Jake talk about this for a second.
Yeah, so Ethan stays at number 1 even after a loss. Worth noting, Cole has a 4-game win streak, which is pretty insane. And then Matt has a 4-game lose streak, which I did not see either of those coming. I would have said the exact opposite 4 weeks ago. And then Holmes and CC are sitting at 5 and 6, and they have a huge matchup coming up, and that is big time for playoff hopes.
And Grant should have the standings on the screen right now, but we're going to read them off real quick. We got Ethan at 1, Cole at 2, me at 3, Jake at 4, Collin Christian at 5, Colin Holmes at 6, Zach at 7, Noah at 8, Jarvis at 9, Grant at 10, Matt at 11. Wow, I didn't realize Matt went down to 11 for that. And then 12, we got Mike. Yeah, okay. And then I had to say, with 5 weeks out, 7 wins is generally the playoff minimum, based off our our research studies by looking in the past history. If you're a 3-5 team right now, so I'm talking to Noah, Jarvis, Grant, Matt, you essentially need to win at least 4 of the last 5 weeks to have a chance, right? And that's still going to have points. Like you might still have to win out on points. So you guys have tough roads ahead. So good luck to all of you. But hopefully you don't take my spot is all I got to say about that. Jake,
and I'm in the same boat. Like, I could certainly get kicked out of playoffs. So good luck to y'all. I mean, same thing, but don't kick me out. And then I also just wanted to repeat what Ben said at the beginning. We did film this. So we're filming right now on Tuesday night, but we filmed the rest of the podcast in the middle of the Sunday games. So in particular, I had a very bad take on Holmes' team about them staying cold. Turns out his team is on fire without stars. And so I'm pretty sure I was completely wrong in everything. So whatever, you guys can have some fun.
You guys will get to see it.
Yep.
Moving on into our player profile section for this week. We are very excited for this.
We have been planning this for a while. I mean, we didn't spend much time actually doing it, but we talked about it for a long time.
We do think this will be enjoyed by all people, not just league members. And that's something we're a little excited for.
Yeah, and the purpose is kind of for the outsiders to get some perspective on how we as players view other players in the league, and then also it'll inform on some history.
That's right. And we're going to start off from last place to first.
Yep.
Week 7 standings, because we're recording this on Sunday. We're starting with Mike. So I'll start us off.
Yep.
He brings a unique perspective on things. I put big Arizona guy, because I mean, it's like, he's going to mention that he's from Arizona at least once a week.
His team name is always integrated with Arizona. He always drafts Arizona players.
That's right. And I also put big late season guy. It feels like ever since Mike's joined this league, he started off terrible. Once again, this year it started off terrible, but he always seems to make a late season surge, like to win 7th place, which is going to be in competition with somebody who one of our later people.
The people in the league already know who that is. He's new to the league, but he's also been in the league before. He makes people feel uncomfortable, and people in the group message will know about that. But he always brings a smile, and he's always very peppy and brings a positive vibe to the GM. So
perfect.
It's nice to have him back.
Agreed.
Then moving on to Jarvis in 11th place. In I think GG7, he didn't show up to the draft, so that's everyone's always going to knock him for that. He always starts hot, but is not. That was a nice.
My first thing was draft skipper. That's what I put, because I mean he's gonna be known as the draft skipper.
Yep.
Other people have probably
Forever.
missed drafts, but it's like he just no called, no showed. Like he would be fired if this was a job.
Yeah.
If you did that now, imagine the repercussions. Like it just is.
And it's just so interesting because I think he started this year in 1st.
Yeah.
And now he's in 11th. And I'm like, that's not the first time it's happened. It happens just about every year. And so it's just a common theme. Like he starts up high and goes down.
One last little phrase I'd like to throw in there is universally loved,
yes,
but not respected.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sorry, Jarvis, for that one. That is very good. Yeah. Moving on to Matty Nice. His name is the Average Joe's, and I think that's pretty right. I mean, he's been average for years. Last year is very good. He cares a lot, and I think that's a very good thing that he brings to the league. And I think you had something in that.
Yeah, so I put in parentheses new guy, because even though he's not the newest guy, he still feels like he has the least history with most of us as friends and as league members. But he fits in perfectly, so it's kind of weird. We don't really see him as the new guy, but also he kind of is at the same time.
Yeah, and then with the new guy thing, it's like everyone's kind of rooting for him, and they're gonna keep like kind of rooting for him until he wins, and then everyone's gonna be not like him. And it's kind of similar to
no one feels slighted by Matt, because it's not like he's just beating anyone by like an unbelievable score or anything. It's just like he's just kind of there. He hasn't been enough history to cause beef with other people yet.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Grant. So Grant, we have quite a bit for.
No editing it out.
I would like you on a in bullet point form, Grant. I put big best draft guy. That was my first one.
I'm just gonna go back and forth.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
I put one GG championship and I didn't put an asterisk next to it, but like he had one good season in my opinion.
I picks up a good QB every year. That is so critical. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert. It feels like every year he finds that new guy that's up and coming.
Okay, similar to my next one, waiver wire stud. Okay,
it's very true. Like his team this year, ravaged by injuries, somehow he's winning games.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go while I try to figure out how to read my mind.
I put, if you want to know what he's going to do next, go listen to the Fantasy Footballers.
I put quit McAllister's to become a regional salesman for Sleeper.
So to fill everyone in, so we use Yahoo as our platform, and Grant is a huge Sleeper truther, which I do have on here. And I also put he was our former favorite league member until he started truthing for Sleeper.
I put former easygoing and good member to upcoming Ethan.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it feels like. It feels like I got someone in my ear every week nagging about something. It's like,
yeah, but and kind of, this is I didn't unscripted, but I think he's been very helpful for the league. He does edit all these videos for us, and he always steps in and steps up.
Oh, we still love Grant. It's just nice to actually have something to flame him about because the last 6 years he's been in this league, it feels like, oh, it's Grant. We all love Grant. It's nice to have something we can at least like hold against him a little bit.
And then also on the fly, we call him BTG. It's Bad Take Grant because he thinks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best jerseys in the NFL. And if you need any more explanation, you go look them up, and they're not.
It's tough.
Bad take.
All right, moving on to Holmes.
So he has one championship. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned that with Grant. No, I did. The very first one.
We did.
So Holmes has one fantasy championship in GG1, which was 2011 when we were 12 years old, and he prides himself huge in that. His dad drafted for him. You can go ahead. That's about all I had.
Yeah, that's the running joke in the league. Is that his dad drafted for him when he won, and his team was incredible that year.
Oh, it really was.
I put draft players that Jake continually hates. So every year after the draft, you hate his team. You're like, he's literally getting last place, and I know I'm like, he's not getting last place. Like it's Colin, like his team is good, it's fine, but you hate his team every year.
Okay, yeah, it's not even like something personal to Holmes. He does just draft players I don't like, which.
I also put that he has trade PTSD for some beef that we have. One up from one of the next up member that started a revolution. So
a revolution, my fellow revolutioner. I think, I mean that's really all I had for Holmes.
I'll throw back to Michael real quick. We didn't mention that he has a championship. I don't think.
Yeah,
and he actually beat Jake in the championship.
I didn't write that on my paper for a reason. I didn't want to bring it up. One last thing for Holmes is, while he doesn't have a championship since 2011, his team is consistently pretty good. He had his bad years, but overall his record shows that he's been a solid contender most years, and he does make playoffs most years. So
Okay, moving on to CC. I put as my little phrase for CC, I put Paul Revere, and now let me explain. It's pretty self-explanatory, but CC, he gathers the troops. You know, he's not the guy that is going to battle, but he wants to rile everybody else up and get everybody else infuriated, and he's like, it's just outrageous. I mean,
I have fellow troublemaker. I also have second place club. He got second to Brandon twice. Again, time ago.
1 year is Noah. 1 year is me.
Oh, okay, my bad. But he has gotten second twice. I've also gotten second.
I put, and this is a weird one for CC because CC's so easygoing. I put seems to take issue with trivial stuff. It's like, CC does not argue. CC does not argue about anything in the league. He's like, oh, I don't care if you sleep. I don't care if you jog. I don't care if you do this. But then there's one random thing. He's like, no, that's dumb. Why are we doing it that way? It's like, what, CC? Where's this coming from?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I didn't have that. That's all I have there.
I also put. He's another guy that has players that, and we'll move on to like later. We'll have Jake. We talk about this, but there's certain players you see. You think of that player, and you think of CC. Like,
okay.
You think of Julio Jones. Oh, sorry. Just mention two other players.
Keenan Allen.
Yep.
I would say Travis Kelce, but Cole's kind of taken over. Who is it? Eckler.
Eckler. Just certain players.
They're always on
like
his roster.
CC players.
Yeah.
You're like before the year, I said CC's gonna draft Eckler.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I think maybe Alshon Jeffrey might be on that list.
He just has Deshaun Jackson. No, it's Deshaun Jackson.
It's Deshaun Jackson for sure. But yeah, and what's funny is when I was writing down for CC, I was thinking, he always has the same players, and then I thought to myself, it's kind of similar to me. Like I stick to kind of a core.
We'll talk about. Let me talk about the.
Yeah, I know, and it's funny because you mentioned it. But So,
okay, so I have Noah. We'll move on to Noah. I put similar to the Patriots, and this is so good in so many ways.
Let me read my paper. Patriots. Period.
This is so good in so many ways. Noah is a winner.
Yep.
He is very good. Like, I don't think most people, like, we hate to admit it, but Noah's really good at fantasy. Like,
it's nothing hard to admit. He is great at fantasy. Everyone in the league would say that, and that's why we don't want him.
Here's the reason I compared him to the Patriots. Because everyone hates him because he's successful. But that's not the only reason. He leans into the villain role. When the Patriots are good, Tom Brady, like, they lean into cheating. They lean into being the bad guys. We're better than you. Oh, this. We have the GOAT. You know, that fuels everybody's anger. Like, dude, who did this guy think he is? That's how Noah is. Noah's like, yeah, you guys can't beat me. I'm the best. Like, I don't know. He just takes on that role.
He's one of my favorite league members, and he has such like a villain personality that everyone can get behind, and like I think someone has to fill that role in the league, and it's him.
I put big receiver early guy. So we've talked about how people think of Ethan as the big.
I have recency bias there. I haven't.
So he's the big. We think of Ethan. We think big receiver guy. But if you look at Noah drafted back-to-back. He drafted like Jeremy Hill and C.J. Anderson one year, and they were both so bad. He went back-to-back at the turn. He got both those guys. Since then,
always 12.
If you look at drafts, I think he's taken 2 or 3 receivers in the first 3 rounds, like every year since. He's been back-to-back receiver the last 2 years, I believe. Like he had Michael Thomas and someone like Julio or something last year, and this year he went Adams and Julio.
Yeah,
So
he had McCaffrey last year, didn't he?
No, Cole had McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know what I'm doing. Foggy brain.
I think I'll put one more thing. He must be.
I put very good at fantasy. He's great on the waivers too.
He must have at least one white receiver. He always drafts one. He's Thielen this year. He's a big Edelman guy, big Wes Welker guy.
Edelman guy.
He's like, I have to have one on my team. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take Zach.
Zach is the perfect person before you go to put into categories because he makes it easy for himself to just categorize this, and this for the player profiles. Go ahead.
Everyone in the league knows what I'm about to say. 7th place.
7th place.
And the reason for that is he's won the consolation bracket multiple years, and that's just his identity in the league. He's made playoffs once, and he made a good 2nd place run, but other than that, he's 7th.
There's no stat checking or fact checking behind this, but I'm pretty sure he's won the 7th place every year that he hasn't won, that hasn't made the playoffs. So if he doesn't make the playoffs, he wins 7th place. But it seems usually like 10th.
That could be fact checked pretty quickly, but yeah, I mean, for sure. Let's see what else we got. I have Boomer Bust. That was his team name one year, but I mean that's how seasons always go.
Let's also say hockey. Like
hockey,
you put hockey. Like
Tyreek Hill.
That's one of his personality traits is hockey. So.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put that on. Yeah, but he's been good for 1 year and averaged the rest, and then he does not have a girlfriend.
I put big slot receiver guy. He always has Adam Humphries and Cole Beasley on his team. It feels like he always has these. I mean, when he has Tyreek Hill, he loves receivers under 6 foot, which is unlike the next person we're about to mention.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Next person that we have Jake. So obviously, well, I'll let you pitch anything that you want. You think people think about you because that'd be a good thing. But let me go ahead and go first.
Go ahead.
I put VP. Obviously,
that's me.
People see you to think of VP, Vice President of the league. I put co-founder of the Gametime Greatness Pod. We started. If you go back and look at some of the originals, they're hilarious.
They're only like 5. They're like 5 minutes.
They're also terrible, but they're so funny. It's hilarious.
Just listen to the first one. Cece's playing different music.
He's playing folk music at one point in the background.
Definitely
I put he's a fierce bee hater. So although you are my bee hater, like as in me.
I save the bees. Come on.
So although he's my vice president, every year, this year a little bit less, but he's like, I really hope he loses. I really hope he loses me. I hope he loses me. I can't wait for Will Fuller to hear
we were joking about this the other day, but in playoffs, I'm always rooting against Brandon, and he always wins when I'm rooting against him. So
it's true. And then once you're like, oh, I don't really care. That's when I lose.
That's a really good one. I do never really root for you. I know you're good. That's why.
As we just alluded to a couple times early in the podcast, he loves drafting receivers 6'4" or above. He loves that big, prototypical wide receiver one, which they're almost going away with in the NFL. But that's your bread and butter. Like when you had that elite team of 200 points every week, it felt like.
That was Evans, Julio.
Michael Thomas, Julio, Evans, Kelvin Benjamin.
And I think I had Travis Kelce too.
Yeah, you had all these huge guys. It was amazing too.
Yeah. That was a fun year.
And I also put 2020 champ. For those that know, he's been claiming 2020 champ for about 8 years now.
Yeah, since 2012.
And let's see, he doesn't get nearly enough credit for the things that he does for the league. it's actually disgraceful. They're like, oh yeah,
That's really pointed at Ethan. Ethan thinks we don't do anything.
And, I
I'm
mean,
pretty
it's,
sure.
it's also pointed to everyone too.
Yeah,
Like, at least I get. Like,
Ethan's just been vocal.
I get like half credit at least because I'm commish.
Yeah.
But I also get a little bit more. But it's like you do a lot of things that are for the best of the league that necessarily you wouldn't like to do.
Fair enough. I'm kind of a whip. Let's see. How do I think people, or how do people view me? I don't know. I mean, this is how I guess I view myself, and people might, but like, usually my record. No, you know what? I'm the Ravens. I am Lamar Jackson. I am good in the regular season, and I am terrible in the postseason. And I think that's how people probably see me. Maybe not this year, but usually on a typical year, you're probably like, oh, Jake's pretty good, but when you get to playoffs, you're not very
I don't really care how bad Jake's team is. I never look forward to the week I play him.
Next week. We'll get to that later, though.
All right.
Moving on to Mr. Brandon. I put our fearless commissioner. Similar to what he said about me, I put does way too much for the league. He does a lot behind the scenes, and he also he's kind of the glue to the league. He's always texting people one-on-one. Like, I know I don't text everyone one-on-one, but I'm pretty sure he has contact with everyone every week. Historically, one of the best players. Like you said about me, you're never happy when you see Brandon. I really don't think you've ever had a dud year.
I had one bad year.
Unlucky blokes, I think.
Yep.
That year was really bad, but other than that,
that was Eddie Lacy round 1, Justin Forsett round 2. It's tough.
I don't even remember who Justin Forsett is. And yeah, you're never looking forward to play him. He has 2 GG championships. They were a while back though, so he's definitely looking for some redeeming power and looking to be the first player in GG history to have 3 championships.
I emphasize this on my matchups. Also, Noah is also looking to get 3 championships.
Yes, he is.
I put this on the matchups, and I'll elaborate a little bit more then. But I said my team is approaching fraud territory. Like, my team is like this year. I think, and I'll elaborate more later. But I'm just gonna put that in there. And it's like people are getting less and less scared of me as a member. It's like, okay, he won way back before the league was even a thing.
And half the members weren't even there then, so they definitely don't care.
Okay, moving on to Cole,
the great CB. He is our reigning champion, and he's sneaky good.
That's what I put silently good.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I wrote about him.
It's funny. So right now he's in second. So like you'd expect, he's good. He's 5-2, I think. His team, we've been calling him. Actually, you go ahead and make a statement, unless you're gonna do it later.
I was gonna do that with the matchup later, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into it right now. Cole Bennett, I owe you an apology, sir. I have been calling your team a fraud since my week 1 podcast.
And so have I. And like, I think in every podcast, everyone's taking the other player.
And it's fair because if you look at your team, you really haven't played that good up until this point. But the problem is your team went from frauds to they're not frauds anymore. If you go look at Cole Bennett's team, he has 1 spot that's really up for grabs. And right now he has Marvin Jones, who's actually doing good this week. But he has like DeAndre Swift, who's getting more carries. Derrick Henry, we know, gets better as the season goes on.
Yep.
He has a stud tight end in Mark Andrews. He has Russell Wilson, I believe. Like he has a lot. He has Kenny Golladay. Like, he has good players all across the board. He has 1 flex spot that if he fills, he will be competing again for a championship.
Yep, and I don't like the thought of Cole might have a back-to-back championship.
Oh, that is very
like
tragic.
I know that's gonna infuriate everyone. Let's see, Cole's knowledge of rookies is insane, and I think that's why his teams usually pan out toward the later end of the season, because those rookies have time to develop and start some team chemistry, and his college knowledge helps him out in the NFL.
And he drafts post-hype sleepers. For those that don't understand what that means, basically he drafts players that other fantasy members have written off. This player's not getting more I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but he drafted Adam Thielen, which wasn't really a post-hype sleeper, but he drafts players
high on him.
He's gonna be a bust, and then it's just like they end up being so good. And you're like, why did nobody see that? Or it's like somebody drafts a backup running back or like a rookie running back, and so nobody is taking the starter. He takes the starter and we're like, oh, it's just because he doesn't know about the backup. And that is true. He doesn't know about the backup, but it ends up being good still.
Yeah.
Like, he drafts players that people claim to not be good the next year, and they're good.
Also, this is completely genuine, but Cole's teams never get injured. Like, he's always relatively injury.
The genuineness part of that is very scary for Cole's team, because that you were being genuine, and we know if a genuine nice can seem to backfire.
No, if you say it's genuine though, then it.
I would like to list a few little phrases that I put for Cole. Like if we're talking about,
Yeah, that's all I have.
His player profiles, you think of like quick little phrases. I put lovable but airhead, and that's not to do with his brains. That's just like when it comes to fantasy, you're like
fantasy sometimes is an airhead.
Lovable but airhead.
Question mark.
He's a classic bebopper.
He's a bebopper for sure.
Yeah, and I guess I draft post high sleeper, so that's what I put. It sounded good.
Okay, and then
moving on to Ethan. I put, first of all, he's a GG champ, and Cole's a GG champ. I don't know if you mentioned that. Okay,
he's a reigning champ.
Ethan is Game Time Greatness season 4, 5, no 5 or 6.
It's 5.
It's 5.
4.
Ethan's Game Time Greatness season 5 champion, but he's the current league villain.
Yeah.
He's finally redeeming himself for the past years. Like
that's what I said. I put he's been bad for many. Not bad.
He didn't need a playoff year. He needed a year like this because like he's been so bad the last 3 years that people just have started to lose respect. And this year, if you play Ethan's team, you're gonna lose. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. It's right on. But he would argue that he never believes in his team. And very self-loathing about that, and like
I put Team Whiner.
Yeah,
you know in the group text he's gonna send 8,000 texts whining about how his team sucked, even though he's dropped you scored 190 points.
Yeah, you score 190, and then you're complaining that some guy didn't get a touchdown. It's like, okay, well, you still won by 30.
Yeah, and also I put Ethan's another person that's easy to put him in like categories for stereotypes. And I put garbage trade sender, and that's just been the case since he's joined the league. He's gotten way better.
I think I wrote that somewhere.
I know you've mentioned every Tuesday he sends out your
every Tuesday he sends out some trades, so keep your notifications off. So that's all we got for the player profiles.
That's all we had segment for the player profiles. We hope you appreciated that one. And now we got to go on to the matchups. So moving on to the matchups for this week, we will leave me and Rex's matchup last. So let's go ahead and start off with Zach and Mike.
Uncle Mike. No,
Hockey and Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Hockey and Uncle Mike. So this is my underdog of the week. I do think Mike is going to win this one. He has Michael Thomas coming back, and Zach has a lot of buys, and because of those reasons.
I put the only way Mike beats Zach is if Mike loses this week. If Mike wins this week versus you, like Mike's not going to pick up 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, statistically, probably not.
So I'm saying Zach's going to take that one, assuming that he beats you this. Mike beats you this week.
Okay, Zach does have a lot of buys, but okay. Next matchup, we have Easy E and Matty Nice. Who you got?
I put, this is my favorite of the week. I just think it's going to be really hard for Matt's team. Matt has no Miles Sanders. He has no Joe Mixon. They are both out on buys. And he has been struggling to break 100 with those 2 players missing in the past few weeks. So
yeah, and
Ethan's a buzzsaw.
Yeah, and Ethan, like, your players don't have bye weeks. I've been looking. Every week, he has a full roster of people scoring 15-plus points. I don't understand. So I do think the hot lock could stay hot.
I like that. Next up, we have Grant and Noah.
BTG and Noah.
I'm struggling on the nicknames here.
I wrote it down.
What's up, Rex? What you got there?
I have Noah. Once again, I'm rooting against Grant, and I feel like that's the wrong move. I think both these teams are really hot right now. I just think Noah's a little hotter. I think his RB's really worked out now. Yeah, I think McCaffrey's coming back, so he loses Mike Davis, but I still think the rest of his team, like...
He also picks up Chase Edmonds next week.
Yeah, and then Aaron Rodgers and Adams are...
I'm taking Noah too, and we're filming this on Sunday again, so it's like, if maybe some of those running backs aren't going to be the main guys for their team, like if somehow Drake's back, if all it pans out, then I think Grant has a chance.
I would definitely want to write Grant off.
Devontae Adams right now is just like outrageous. The Packers get on the 1 yard line and they're gonna throw a pass to Devontae Adams. It's just
for sure.
It's crazy. All right.
I'm about to sneeze, but next up we have CC and Holmes. Who you got, Brandon?
I got COLLIN Holmes.
Are we gonna go opposite on all of these?
This is we will pick Noah last time.
Dang it.
But I picked Holmes. This is the Battle of the Collins, one of the matchups of the week.
That is the matchup of the week.
Which we call neither of them COLLIN, even though that's both of their first name. We call it Holmes and CC.
True.
But I'm going Holmes. I know that's my underdog pick of the week.
Okay, continue.
I look at these teams. I look at how CC's team been doing. It just feels like CC's been too hot. Holmes has been a little too cold. It feels like we're gonna have a little bit of regression in the mean.
This is hilarious. We have completely opposite analysis here. So I put CC as my favorite. So like he's
gonna crush him basically.
But I also am not sure where the projections are gonna lie, as in the point projections. So like I guess we're just going off standings there.
I normally do a lot more research into the teams than I've done this week.
That's why his picks are so foolish.
It's also on a Sunday, so it's like we don't know the injuries that are going to happen. We don't know how
for sure.
Depth charts, buys.
So, yeah, the reason why I'm picking CC is CC's team is picking up steam. I do believe
It is,
and
I like CC's team.
so exactly what you said, but I'm taking the other way. You're saying CC's team is hot and it's going to cool off, and Holmes' team is cold and going to heat up. I think they're going to
keep turning in that direction.
I think they're going to keep going the other way because Holmes has Evans, who's regressed, Zeke, who's regressed, and OBJ's out. And so I just think his team's overall.
The good thing is OBJ will have plenty of time at home to do whatever activities he would like. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Jarvis and Cole Bennett. Who you got there?
I'm taking Cole. Jarvis has a lot of buys. I think Jarvis is due for a win here soon, but I don't think this is the one. It might be this week, but Jarvis has a lot of buys. Jamal Williams is going to be irrelevant again because Aaron Jones is coming back for that reason.
And I'm going to agree with you there. I have to pick Cole. Okay. This was where I was going to put my apology to his team earlier, so I don't need to repeat that, but like I just think Cole's team is getting stronger as the weeks go by. You know, Derrick Henry, the colder it gets, is going to get better and better. So
yeah, I don't like that.
I'm going Cole. I'm going Cole Bennett. So
And finally, the matchup you've all been waiting for is Mr. Brandon Scott versus Rex. Third person Rex.
Okay, I need the mic here for a second.
Go ahead. I have something to say.
I put my team. Okay.
Yeah.
I've decided I always pick my team in these segments.
Mm-hmm. I have also decided that. You convinced me that's the right thing to do.
But you have to have faith in your team. Like, you're the manager of your team. You have to have confidence going in that they can win. Mm-hmm. But this is where we were talking about earlier. I think my team is entering fraud territory. If I lose this week to Matt with no Joe Mixon, no Miles Sanders, right? It's projected really close right now. If I lose to Matt this week, I drop to 4-4. That means Josh Allen has underperformed 4 or 5 weeks in a row. That means Clyde's probably doing bad. Aaron Jones might be out again. Like, there's a lot of things that's like, man, Brandon's team kind of started hot, but they just aren't looking as good as they once were. And that means just one more loss to you, I'm probably out of the playoff picture. Like not completely, but I'm definitely down in. Like,
it'd be like me losing this week to Mike and then losing next week to Brandon, and I am in a tough spot.
I have a hard schedule coming up, so that's why I'm playing my teams entering fraud territory. There's a good chance if I lose this week, I am hoping for that 5th or 6th spot.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
Okay.
Let's see. You have Aaron Jones coming back, which makes me nervous.
Maybe.
He
said, I'm worried about Aaron Jones. He said, I could have played in Houston today. Then he doesn't practice all week and doesn't play in Minnesota. That makes no sense.
Fair.
I am worried about maybe contract issues. I just don't understand what could be going on there that you could think that you could almost play and not practice all week after that.
Yeah. Let's see. So really, I focus on my team, just like Brandon was talking about his team. So I am going to take myself, but that's conditional on if Ridley plays and if Godwin plays. Without them, let's just skip to week 10. Like
it's funny because we both picked ourselves, but with the butts. Yeah. We had the asterisk, so we're not nicing ourselves.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened to Ridley on Thursday. They said he's day to day, and then Godwin had a random finger surgery, but they say he's questionable for next week. So I don't know. If they play, I think I give myself a chance. It's definitely not a freebie, but this is a very pivotal game for both of us.
It really.
So it's pretty
really,
fun.
If we both win this week, maybe not. But if we both lose this week,
If
we both lose this week, this might be who gets in playoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
That's big.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a little special segment. So we used to have a guest on, and me and Brandon would ask the guest questions, and then what I realized, we never asked each other questions. So throughout the week, I was just thinking of goofy questions that I could ask him. Turns out they weren't that funny, but I'm gonna ask him 2 football questions and then 1 just unrelated question that I don't know he'll probably rage about.
I'm very scared for this.
No, they're pretty easy. So the first one's kind of a softball, and I asked him to pull up the league. Who do you think is gonna make playoffs? What 6 teams?
Okay, I'm gonna go Ethan.
Okay, they don't have to be in order.
I'm gonna go myself. We have faith in our own teams.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to Noah, which is tough. I'm gonna give it to Cole. I haven't looked and see if he's gonna win this week, but he's 5-2. He essentially needs 2 wins. So that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Give me CC.
I think so too.
That's
his
5.
Team's good. You're skipping 1.
I basically have between Jake or Zach at this point.
Oh my word. I want to tell you to take Zach, but I also don't want to hear Zach's.
Based on our
go with your heart.
prior conversations, we know Zach does not belong in the upper bracket. We know he belongs battling with Michael Baker.
I set myself up for this one.
For
I should have done this
7th
question.
place. Jake Vassar squeaks
Okay.
in at 7
I
or
like
6.
it. I like it. I do it. Well, I'm not gonna say that actually. Okay, question number 2. So I think it was on Monday Night Football. They were talking about QB passer rating, and I thought to myself, "What on earth is QB passer rating?" Commissioner, do you have an answer for us, or a secret formula? Because no one has a clue.
Are we
what it
talking
means.
about the obscure one that goes up to like 150? Or
It's like I think it's 158 is the max. 158. Like,
it's really weird because one time I swear I saw a quarterback go up when he got an incompletion. It's like, you know how they tell you, oh, if you get a 4.0, you're not going to get as many job interviews because they think you're too worried about school. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I think it's like that. Like, you have to get at least one incompletion or you're not trying or something. I don't know, but
it's such a bogus stat, and I get a little.
I just know
triggered.
that Aaron Rodgers leads it because he's the best quarterback.
Is he actually? Or does he?
I'm pretty sure it's like the historical leading. He leads it like in history, and like Romo's too or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay. Now, last question is: do you like throw pillows? If yes, why? Ashley's in the room.
I like throw pillows. I like 1 or 2 throw pillows that I'm also allowed to use.
Wait, yeah,
I do not agree with the fact that you could ever own a pillow that goes on your couch that you're not allowed to use. That is
The
outrageous.
second question was: where do throw pillows belong?
On the floor.
Or in the garbage? Is in the trash bin
They belong in the store unboxed.
with the price tag on them or returned. But yeah, I mean that's all I got for you.
Ashley's over there, so she's
kinda fuming.
she's taking a nap. She's fuming over there. I'm hearing a few giggles and
I see
snickers.
no throw pillows on that couch.
Don't bother with any of that. But any other questions?
That's all. That's all.
Okay, I like it. I think are we done?
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Jake, it was an honor being back with the OG
It was a pleasure to be here.
podcast members. It was great. I do miss being able to interview and roast somebody else, but it's fun to be
Yeah,
on
it
this
is.
idea
It is
too,
fun to have a
so.
guest on.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share
Yeah.
with all your friends,
And follow the Gametime Greatness Instagram page.
Yes, right.
Always. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.